if I'll still be here. But some of us will be here, and I believe because of our robust succession plan, some of us who are young here will be there 20 years to come. With that one, Kia Leboha, thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you, Professor Ngowi, and thank you for awarding Prof. Uli with this award. Do enjoy it, it's such an honor. While we're continuing, colleagues, it gives me pleasure to introduce, okay. No, I'm busy disrupting technology. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Professor Harold Riegel. Allow me to introduce him as a professor. Born in Frankona, and after various placements in the industry in Germany and abroad, Professor Harold Riegel has been a professor in mechanical engineering and material science department since 2009. There, the doctor in physics has taught electrical engineering, thermodynamic, measuring techniques, and laser techniques successfully, where he founded the Laser Application Center, LAS, and has published over 60 scientific articles. Within the University Council, he is responsible for quality, organization of teaching, where he was able to introduce improvements to processes and more efficient tools in cultivation and expansion of national and international contacts to the universities, industries, and scientific policies are all further foci of his field of work. Please allow me to introduce the president of Aalen University of Applied Science and him responding to the warm welcome and opening note of our Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Ngowi. Professor Harold Riegel, over to you.
So thank you very much. Is the sound check okay? Mr. Vice Chancellor, dear partners, colleagues, students, and friends, first of all, thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chancellor, for the warm and welcoming words. Let me shortly introduce the participants here in our Senate room. And next to me, to my left, is Anja Diekmann. She's Vice President for International Affairs. From the faculty, to my right is Mr. Markus Merkel. He's from the school, Professor Merkel, and also Professor Diekmann, from the School of Mechanical Engineering and Material Science. And I have seen online from our side here, Uli Klauk and Professor Klauk and Ralf von Beer, also professor as well. I have here in the room also representatives of the International Relations Office, led by Pascal Krom, the director, and Martina Kübler, Hedwig Schröder, Daniela Todorovic. And from the student side, directly from South Africa, Onalena Bandile, very hard welcome here to us here in Germany. You are exchange students from the CUT. And I have here Jan Pöhler. He was an exchange student last semester at CUT. So welcome everyone here in our room. And you have an idea who is with us and celebrating with you. And there are so many other colleagues and students from Aalen University joining online or from the CO2 campus, as we have seen Uli Holzbauer, of course, and I guess Steffen Schwarzer as well. I feel very honored that I have the opportunity to address you all here today in South Africa, in Aalen and elsewhere in the world on the occasion of the 20th anniversary of the partnership between Aalen University and the Central University of Technology. It is a real pleasure to speak here because today we are here to celebrate, and I have only good news and positive messages for you, of course. Aalen University has more than 130 partner universities worldwide. But only a few of the partnerships are older than the one with you, with the CUT. More importantly, hardly any other partnership has developed so dynamically and is so diverse and full of life as the one with the CUT. If I look around me on the screen, I can see members of the university's leadership, faculty, researchers, staff of the international offices, and even students. This audience is a perfect demonstration of the multifaceted collaboration we have. Internationalization is a big topic at Aalen University, and it's one of our strategic goals. We see it as a joint responsibility of all our staff and our university community to contribute to the internationalization process, to motivate and inspire our colleagues to support this process. We need good examples and success stories. Our partnership with the CUT is a best practice example, and it is definitely also a success story. From this partnership, we all can learn how to develop and sustain other international collaborations. As a former vice president for international affairs and someone who spent a part of his life abroad, I'm personally very committed to the topic of internationalization, and I attach a very special importance to international friendships. In 2017, I joined the official delegation of our State Ministry of Science, Research and Art and visited South Africa and several universities with the goal to initiate new collaborations. Apart from the fact that it was a very inspirational and fruitful trip, the main prevailing memory I have from this visit is how friendly and unbelievable, hospitable people in South Africa are. There is no doubt that the past 20 years of our collaboration have brought substantial contribution to both our institutions. What needs to be stressed, however, and it's also what makes our partnership so special, is that the effect of our collaboration has reached far beyond the boundaries of our university. It has strongly impacted our regions, our societies, other partnerships, and thanks to research, also on the outside world in general. In the following presentations, we will hear more about the important milestones in the development of our partnership and about its impact from people who dedicated weeks and months and even every years of their lives to bring our joint projects further and who inspired others to join them. I'm very grateful that they will share with their memories and experience with us today. Our two institutions have a common root as Ingenieurschule and Fachhochschule, or Technikum, to use a South African term, meaning that the initial focus was only on engineering. Later, the course offerings at both institutions expanded and also incorporated management and economics, teachers' education, and design-oriented subjects. In the past 2 decades, we jointly evolved from a mainly teaching-oriented organization to a university with all necessary qualities: high-quality education, excellent research, and transfer capabilities. Our partnership was officially certified in 2002 when Uli Holzbauer, as a professor of Aalen University and as a consultant at Steinbeiß Transfer Center, visited the CUT. During his first stay, he focused on the implementation of a transfer system based on the Steinbeiß model, but Uli also participated in a CUT conference and presented his ideas about educational games and sustainability. But even before that, there had been a collaboration in joint projects on mold making, additive manufacturing, and die casting, mainly brought forward by Professor Uwe Berger. After 2002, the scope of the collaboration widened and soon included many additional fields: engineering and management, educational and entrepreneurial games, research management and education, 3D printing and computer science. In the course of time, more and more faculty got involved in the partnership, and the bilateral collaboration evolved into a multilateral one. The partner network grew. About 12 years ago, Professor Ulrich Klauk, for me it's Uli Klauk, today the Dean of our School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, spent a research semester at the CUT. and prepared ground for collaboration in the area of artificial intelligence. The latest joint project, and I hope we will learn more about it today, is dealing with geotourism and sustainable tourism. Importantly, our cooperation is not limited to research and teaching. The topics of the joint activities also encompass systematic aspects of the universities, such as sustainable development, internationalization, innovation, and transfer. And of course, there has been exchange. Except for a short break caused by the corona pandemic, there has been a very regular student exchange in both directions. In the past 20 years, we have exchanged about 130 full-time students. On top of that, our colleagues from the graduate campus who facilitate further education programs also got involved a few years ago and organized 2 international modules for the students in South Africa. The third one has to be cancelled due to Corona. We have also exchanged PhD candidates. It is needless to say that the active exchange, be it on the student or on the staff level, significantly contributed to what we call internationalization at home. Who do we owe this success to? Well, it is quite a large group of people from both sides, and I would certainly forget somebody if I started naming them. However, I must acknowledge at least one person here today who has played an absolutely indispensable role in this partnership. My fellow colleague, Professor Uli Holzbauer. Uli launched the cooperation, was involved in numerous joint projects, published books together with the CO2 colleagues, invested a lot of extensive effort in networking, supervised the exchange students and the PhD candidates, and always took the best care of our guests from the COT. For this academic achievements, he has been appointed honorary professor at the COT. And in the course of time, South Africa has become his second home. Uli, I'm turning my full attention to you now. Thank you so very much for putting such an enormous effort into developing and, more importantly, into sustaining this successful partnership. Without you, we would not be here today. Now, I realize that I must modify the announcement I made at the beginning of my speech, namely that I have only good news for you today. There is one bad news. Uli has decided to retire next year. Faithful to his sustainability principles, however, he has already secured a successor who will coordinate the future joint activities with the COT and who is currently also in Bloemfontein, already attending to his new duties. Many greetings to you, Professor Steffen Schwarzer, and thank you for your engagement. Steffen already has links to South Africa and now finally has the opportunity to see our partner university from the ground and not only from an aerial view. Steffen is an aviator. Moreover, I'm confident that Uli Holzbauer will also stay in close touch with his second home and all the friends he has found there. Let's speak at least briefly about the latest happenings. On the occasion of the 20 years jubilee, our international offices followed the initiative of the faculty from both sides and organized a series of digital workshops on various technical and research topics, which all were in some way related to the main theme of our anniversary celebrations, the topic of a responsible university. Most of the workshops were prepared jointly by faculty from both institutions, in some cases by partners who had known each other for a very long time, but in some cases also by members of the faculty who had not known each other before. Through the workshop activities, they found common ground and became inspired for future projects, which is excellent news for all of us. Also, the recent visit of the 4 deans and other colleagues from the COT made it obvious that this partnership is valued by both sides and that there are enough ideas and that there is enough motivation to bring our partnership to the next level, I'm very optimistic that our two institutions will be able to significantly contribute to the technological and socio-economical developments of our society, also in the next 20 years. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak here today. Thank you, every single one of you who, in one way or the other, supports this wonderful partnership. Thank you for your friendship.
Thank you, Professor Riegel. It has been a pleasure working with Aalen and continue working with Aalen, and you have shared very wise words, just as much as our Vice Chancellor has, and we hope that we get to celebrate 20 years again in the coming 20 years until we get to 50 and celebrate a platinum or a gold jubilee. Without wasting any further time, I'm going to ask Professor Uli to give us a presentation where he's going to first give us an overview of what Aalen is, where Aalen is situated, how many faculties it has, just to help those of us that haven't been to Aalen or seen the beauty that is in that beautiful region of Germany. Prof. Uli, over to you.
I will find now the other one. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, dear principals, Prof. Alfred, Prof. Harald, thanks for the warm words, and also thanks to the international offices for making this event possible. I will start with a short introduction to Aalen University. Just a moment. To see you where I'm come from and where all your students have gone to, where all the students have come from. Do you see the slideshow? Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm really impressed, and I need to start now. And I want to thank all of you. It was a very good time, but we will come back to the history later. Let me just look at the description of the university. It was already mentioned that Aalen and Bloemfontein CUT have the same history, the same background. We are a rather small university of applied science, but a very research intensive university of applied science in the south, in the heart of the south of Germany. Southern Germany, you know, can explain it easily. We are between the Black Forest and Bavaria. So just between a vibrant town with a lot of global players in the neighborhood. So the students that come to Aalen and also the professors or researchers that come to Aalen can link up with a variety of very well-known companies. Yeah. We have started with that. Sorry? What's wrong? There's no picture on the screen. It should.
Let's just resume slideshow.
Slideshow, okay.
No, something is okay. There you go.
No, there's the old one. Okay, forget about the slideshow, let me talk.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah. We have a lot of global players around, and I already mentioned that. And of course, we started as a Ingenieurschule with 400 students 60 years ago, and now we are a University of Applied Science. We also have that rank of a university. We have the right to grant a PhD since 3 weeks. Yeah, so that's also one of the progresses we made. And we have 5 faculties. We started as a Fachhochschule. So the Fachhochschule was mainly based in mechanical engineering. We have a faculty of mechatronics, a faculty of electrical engineering and computer science. That's the engineering part. We have a faculty of chemistry, that's the smallest one. And we have a faculty of management and business science. That's also the faculty where we come from, but we come from a department of industrial management or industrial engineering. So I always say we have the best of both of worlds. We do engineering and management, and that's why I also asked Steffen to take on that responsibility for being a contact, since then you can link up with engineering, with management, with humanity, with arts, whatever comes up. We have a strong international network, and of course, Aalen is strong in research. We are the strongest University of Applied Science in research in Baden-Württemberg, although we are not the biggest one. We have about 30 bachelor's courses, we have about 30 master's courses, and we have a lot of research facilities and a lot of research activities. Those that have been to Aalen shortly 2 weeks ago also know our Explorino, our science center, and I can only invite you to come to that. And that is also something which we can propose to have something in this kind also here in Bloemfontein to really attract young learners to get interested in science, technology, in engineering, in computer science, and of course also in mathematics. We have some nice pictures, unfortunately I cannot show it to you. And of course, Aalen is also a place which is nice to visit for our students. It's also a touristic highlight. Maybe you don't know Aalen from the touristic maps, but we have a lot of old castles, of old churches, we have several museums, and we are in the heart of southern Germany. So if you want to go to the Black Forest, if you want to go to Neuschwanstein, it's just a relatively short travel. For us in Germany, it's a long travel, but in relation to the distances you are used in South Africa, it's really a short travel. And that's what also the students really enjoy. They enjoy the direct contact with the lecturer. They enjoy also the many possibilities for leisure activities. So I can really invite you to come to Aalen for some joint research projects, for lecturing there, but I also will hope that you can engage your students in coming to Aalen, and I hope that also many students in the future will come to Bloemfontein. We will hear in the afternoon the good experiences from our students, and I got so many feedbacks from the students that have been here in the last 20 years, and that was the most impressive time in their study life, and they really enjoyed Bloemfontein, and what Prof. Harald said, they really loved the friendly and hospitality of the people here in South Africa, which I also could experience over the last 20 years. So that was a short impression of the University of Aalen. Unfortunately, with no pictures. If you are interested on aalen.de, we have a lot of presentations about our university, about our city, and I really would love to see you in some time in Aalen. And Prof. Harald mentioned I am going to retire in February. Prof. Alfred also mentioned, but that means that I will have no more time for my visitors. So welcome to Aalen for everybody who wants to see us there. Welcome to Aalen also for your students. Thanks a lot for your attention, and see you in Aalen. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Uli. May I ask our panelists today to come sit and join us at the magic chairs. Can you have a seat? No. Yeah. No, please come and have a seat. And our Vice Chancellor. We are quickly just restarting our presentation. Can I lead you
There
to
we go.
your conference bags? It's ready. Okay. Let's see who's presenting next. It's Prof. Litersang. Yes. Prof. Litersang, please come join us and share your antidotes of knowledge about this collaboration.
Shall I start off to say good afternoon, everyone, and to our German colleagues, guten Tag. It's wonderful to be part of these celebrations, and we've organized it in such a way that Prof. Uli, Prof. Desai, and myself will reflect over the past 20 years, and hopefully in reflecting on these 20 years, we can look back, the typical Janus phase of looking back, but also looking forward. So my first comment is, this is the template we received yesterday evening. Unfortunately, we couldn't put everything in that specific format, but what we should remember then is that there was a joint collaboration as from the beginning of the year, then also to plan for the next 20 years. And the good news is you can invite me for the celebrations at 40 years. It will be shortly before my retirement, so I will be in attendance and not in the cloud. So you will see there, looking at the slide, what is in hand. Those are the respective topics that we will discuss. But for obvious reasons, we have highlighted, first of all, how it all started, and then looking into the future. And if you look then on the left-hand side of the presentation, you will see there are some things that we would like to share with you. First of all, there was a value created. It was not simply people going to Aalen or people from Aalen visiting Bloemfontein, but there was value created. Then secondly, we're going to show you some examples of the value created. And we believe Vice-Chancellor made reference to Plato, the infamous Greek philosopher. He also said for something to continue, you need to have a decent foundation on. So we are showcasing the decent foundation then to march into the next 20 years. And then you don't need much introduction to them, but there are your presenters, Professor Dr. Ulrich Holzbauer, Professor Dr. Desiree Kocht, and then myself. So where did it start? And this is very important. It started almost by accident. Not accidental, but by accident. Professor Holzbauer was looking for someone in geology, but the people thought he was looking for someone in theology. So we are both dealing with the planet, because this is the start of geology. You deal with the planet. I also deal with the planet, but in a different way. You can't always touch on the planet I'm dealing with. But the important thing is the note we put down there. So in inverted order, in this case, the train has met. And through our collaborations, by touching the planet, we could create something that is sustainable for the future. So the first lesson is, Vice-Chancellor, you do not always need to plan something, but you need to be committed to what you're planning for. So this is perhaps the most important lesson that we can take forward. The next slide, and then the one thereafter, Professor Uli will quickly make reference to, and then I will continue.
Yeah, it started by accidents, and I will also talk a little bit about the small accidents, the small activities in the world, in world politics that influence our activities. I did my PhD on the optimization of stochastic processes, especially on Markov chains. So I will say that life is a Markov chain. That means we are somewhere, accidents happen, change happens, we get to another point, we make some decisions, but life goes on and does not only take care of our decisions, but there is a lot of other political influence. And some of the points were, 1972, Dennis Meadows published a book about the limits to growth report to the US president. In 1986, Gorbachev started that idea of perestroika and glasnost. In 1990, we had the reunification. 1989, we had the fall of the wall. 1992, we had the Rio Agenda. 1994, we had the end of the apartheid, which opened South Africa to the world. And in 1999, we had the restructuring of the German army. And these are some of the accidents. Without them, we wouldn't stand here. In 2002, we had the Rio Plus 10 conference, and this Rio Plus 10 conference was the occasion for me to come to South Africa. In 2002, GTZ decided to support South Africa in the establishing a transfer system, and me as a head of the Steinberg's Transfer Center for Applied Management took that task. And the restructuring of the German army, the peace dividend, told me I have some time to do that. I'm not longer going to military exercises. I said, you have time left. You can invest that time to make an impact. And this impact, hopefully the positive impact, was my activities in South Africa. So we started in doing some training in Aalen, and then I came to South Africa. And when I came here, they had that innovation summit. They gave me the opportunity to do 2 presentations. Prof. Litersang and I went together to Grahamstown for a conference on environmental management for sustainable universities. That was in the course of the Rio Plus 10. Yeah? It was 1 year after 9/11, and I remember sitting in Grahamstown together with people from America, from the Near East, from the Far East, and discussing about the consequences of 9/11, really sitting together in peace. And that was one of the most impressive activities, or the most impressive remindings I really have. So we started that Chumisano. We started together with the Central Rapid Prototyping and Manufacturing on the field of additive manufacturing and engineering. Very welcome. We have been partners for 20 years, but then it spread. We discussed about the innovation and strategy, research and education. Also, internationalization was a subject of our joint research. Engineering was the core, and management and economics followed, and we had various interesting projects in management, in economics, in hotel school, discussions about food preparation, discussion about whatsoever. And of course, one of the most important issues for me was also we started that activities on sustainability at CUT. Say, okay, here we want to turn CUT into a sustainable university, but also have an impact on the global sustainability. And it was already mentioned, we were rewarded by the UNESCO as a UNESCO project of the Decade for Education for Sustainable Development. CUT got that reward as a project of the UNESCO Decade. Of course, we discussed with the communication department, with the computer science department, and it was also mentioned that there is a second big pillar, and this is Uli Klauk. He also started here, he also became a visiting professor, and he did a lot of research and publications here together with Masindi Mutoni from CUT. So that's a huge bunch of activities, and I'm really glad about what we achieved. And one of the focuses, and I mentioned that only very brief, was the joint activities with Prof. Latikan and Prof. Koch on research education. And so I give back to Prof. Latikan.
Thank you very much. So what you've witnessed so far are two very important comments. On the one hand, as the world opens up, also science collaboration, but science itself. And to a certain extent, we've moved away from the linear understanding of science, meaning if you are a mathematician, you can only do maths research, or if you are in health sciences, you can only work in that particular domain. And between Uli and myself, we realized this is a unique opportunity to bring various disciplines together. But as you also said, it was a new world. And the whole notion of research education emerged then. How do you educate researchers? And we decided then to start on a publication program, and here are some of the results that you will see. There were numerous books published in South Africa, books published in Aalen. There was also conference presentations, and then most important also contributions to journal articles. And again, I have to emphasize, we never claim that we have one domain of activity only. The idea was that not only people in Bloemfontein, Welkom and Aalen should benefit from this exercise, but also people around the world. So if you look there on the bottom corner of the slide on the right-hand side, there you will see some other books, and this is also an indication of how time progresses. Those days you need to have a hard copy. When we presented to the workshops, there were copies. Hard copies are the books. Nowadays you can simply sign in, download the PDF file, and you can continue with your research. But what was very important, our contribution to what is known as research education. And on the left-hand side, you will see our advocacy that we should put much more emphasis on educating people how to do research before they can actually start doing research. Now, as a follow-up to this, and also the illustration of the collaboration, there you'll see I was occasionally invited to Aalen to give a presentation here on research management and doctoral education. And that presentation coincided with the celebrations of von Humboldt, who is regarded as the father of higher education in Germany. So if you simply look very simplistic on what is the idea of von Humboldt, and that is you should be a rounded off scholar, not only understanding science only, but it should have an impact on you and also on the broader society. And at that point in time, I then said what I think should be the hallmark of a good researcher is the following, and you will see a number of activities that I've listed there. You will see on top of it all, remember in the research context, it's all about critical thinking and problem solving. But if you look at the fourth bullet, and this is good advice to our students in attendance or in the cloud, your research shouldn't be of interest to yourself only. It should be of relevance to a broader audience. And this is the biggest challenge universities face with their research outputs. How relevant is it to the science community and then also to the public community as end users of the research results? You will also see a fifth reference to what I called city and region. This is taken then also the UNESCO concept of what you are doing should not only influence your immediate environment, in our case, the Aalen case, the Welkom case, the city, but also the surrounding regions. And if you look, for example, at the OECD documentation on city and the region, this also contributed to our endeavors of sustainable development and entrepreneurship, because now you are not only catering for your own environment, but you cater then also for a broader environment. You will also find a pointer to what we refer to as human-centered. In the end, research is about how can we improve the living conditions, the lifestyles, and also the health of people. So that again is a test of how relevant is the research that you are doing. And then to the bottom of the line, simply the importance of networks. So for the emerging colleagues in attendance, this is an opportunity to reach out. For the students, start to talk to the person next to you. And this is also something that we've learned, that you must start on a very early stage to move out from your comfort zone. So often I will observe that colleagues from the same department, they will always sit together and they will always talk together, which is fantastic. But to a certain extent, you need also then to move to meet other people. And this was then also one of the outcomes of our research into research education. Then I have to refer to a book that was accepted very favorably by the South African higher education community as well as the German higher education community, and it is a book entitled 7 Imperatives for Success in Research. I feel we referred to the series of webinars. Recently, Prof. Kocht, Prof. Holzbauer, a representative from SAIMA, Dr. Karen Dysent, and we were the authors of the book, and we contributed to the contents of the book and henceforth also to the webinar. And what is this book all about? It's not only how to do research, but how to understand the concept of research. Now, from that particular book, we emphasize 2 important aspects. The one you will find there on the screen, where we say, when you are doing a research, it is much more than what is commonly known as the cardinal sins. Cardinal sins is how do you interact with people in a research context? What do you do with data? You either inflate or deflate the data. In simple terms, you're moving the comma to the left or to the right, or you fabricate your own data. Very famous in leading journals around the world. And then also very important, shoplifting, plagiarism of other people's work. So this was also the beginning to sensitize our respective research communities. And can you see, since then, it's something that has opened up around the world. There were many research statements, not only because of us, but it's a simultaneous development, and recently a number of leading South African actors also issued a statement on research ethics and integrity. So let me just flag there, if you look at the last one, the one I'm making reference to, the Cape Town Declaration, and that is to bring equality to Africa as a continent when we are participating in research. And this too showcases that we started on a small scale, influenced by political contacts, and all of a sudden, we are in the midst of a broader society dealing with much more complex issues, but the way in which we started our research then also prepared ourselves for that. And I think Vice-Chancellor and the Dean in attendance will support us how important it is that we have that culture of ethics and integrity in our academic and scholarly work. Another development, and this is something I hope that everyone will take good note of, also as a result of our research, Professor Uli and other colleagues helped us to develop a value chain for project management when you are doing research. So, Vice-Chancellor, you often ask me why are our students not progressing as fast as they should? And we believe one reason is they never consider their research project as a project that you need to manage. You have a start day and you have an end day. You have resources available. It's limited time. It's a specific assignment. And once you've refocused your endeavors on the research project, we can guarantee success. So the takeaway message is, because of the research work that we were collaborating on, we were able then to design mechanisms, frameworks, and platforms then also for our students then to excel. And DVC, whenever I refer to this, I always remember our infamous talk of you cannot microwave research. This isn't something that you can do overnight. You need decent planning. So here, if I go back to the first slide, no meeting by accident. It must be planned. In this case, there is the exception. And then you will see we've put on other nuances. Again, in one of our books on research modeling, you will find perfect examples also of management and then making use of modeling techniques to further enhance your research. And I believe this will be of value to everyone. Then a last project that I would like to comment on is the one entitled The Responsible University. So whenever we think of a university, we only have the 3 circles starting there at 12 o'clock, research, 3 o'clock teaching, and then almost on the 6th engagement in mind. We behave as if a university is only about research, teaching, and engagement. We say no. There is more to a university than simply meeting those 3 objectives. And we've simply focused on innovation and entrepreneurship. And when you extend your focus, you become responsive to the society, to the societal needs. You are part and parcel of a changing world, and then only one can claim that you are making contributions to a responsible university. And since I was one of the members who started from the very beginning, I think, Uli, you and Desiree will agree, this is perhaps the most significant contribution that we were emphasizing over and over again. To be a responsible university requires much more than the 3 functions we always think about. And the ones that we are emphasizing, we are not limiting, we are just emphasizing the role of innovation and then also entrepreneurship. Now that we've shown the results of research education to you, I think we can also witness now the results of the research education. And for that, Professor Desiree will talk to the slides.
Thank you, Prof. Lategan, and good afternoon to the Bloemfontein colleagues, to the Aalen colleagues. It's a pleasure for me to just present some interactions that we had with Prof. Uli as the Faculty of Management Sciences. So I've dug up some pictures. I had to go into my archives actually to get some pictures because it's been so many years that we've had these deliberations and so forth. So I've actually placed there one of the Aalen colleagues that graduated with a D.Tech in marketing. Now that has already been 12 years ago, 2012. So I actually hope that there will be more students maybe from Aalen coming through, because this was a very good inception point for us, and also it enhanced our collaboration with Aalen University. But like I said, it's already 10 years, and I think we need some more doctoral students maybe graduating with CUT and maybe even graduating at Aalen. So I have also had the privilege to lecture in Aalen, some obviously HR and human behavior related subjects. So you can see there's my class that I had. It was 1 December, and I was privileged to see some of the Christmas markets in Germany, which is very nice, in Aalen. We had some deliberations with some of the other colleagues as well. And then you can also see a photo here at the bottom, taken here in the hotel school, of students from Aalen coming here and also then completing a 4 or 5 day course in also human resource management. And then we also arranged for them to have an industry visit before they flew to Cape Town. So we've had these courses twice, in 2017 and 2019. This is the 2019 group. And obviously Corona hit us then, so we didn't have another opportunity. But I know that Refilwe and Martina, they are working on bringing the students there, and maybe for our staff to go to Aalen again. So there I also have some photos, Faculty of Management Sciences, the deliberations with Prof. Uli. So like I said, I had to dig up some old photos, and it was very nice for me just to see how long this engagement has been. And also Prof. Uli and I always talk about Facebook, that gives us some indications of how long we've been working on certain projects, and also how long ago our books were published. So I think it's time for some new publications, and hopefully, Stefan, we will rope you in as well to be part of this. So again, I want to say thank you to everybody, and also to our deliberations. And I had the privilege also of being part of the team writing books on research education, which is also for me very stimulating. So with this, Prof. Uli, you are our next presenter. Thank you.
So when we talked about the 7 imperatives, the last one was make an impact. And to make an impact, we need to do transfer. And that was, I already mentioned, one of the first projects we had here, the Chumisano project, Technology Station project. And that was also something that was moving me for the last 30 years, the question of interaction between a university and industry in the widest sense. And that was also something that was driving our discussions about Mode 1 and Mode 2, knowledge from the ivory tower, or knowledge that can really be applied. Of course, my heart was always on sustainable development, so I was really glad when the former VC in 2010, when he and Prof. Schulz visited Aalen, decided we want to implement that idea of sustainable development also at CUT. And I already mentioned that CUT can be very proud to be recognized as one of the UNESCO projects on education for sustainable development. That was only one of the outcomes. When I walk over the campus today, I see the recycling bins, I see water-saving activities. I also see that is something which we can improve, but it's really one of the important projects. It's not finished, it's going on. Another project that's also going on was that value project. You see, we discuss about values on various levels. Here we started with the economic value, value creation, and on the right upper corner, you see my first version of that game. Some paper, some nuts, and some screws. And on the left-hand side, you see the professional version that Marnus van Zyl created out of this project. And now we're really rolling it out on various occasions with universities, with schools, with farmers, and so on. And the Fredefort project was also mentioned. It started 12 years ago when I first passed that Fredefort dome and saw that this is an impact crater. I live between two impact craters. They are not as old as Fredefort. They are really young, 14 million years. Fredefort is about 2 billion years old, but I realized there is a potential. And 1 year ago, 2.5 years ago, we started that project, Johann Hatting and I together, and unfortunately he died from COVID, and I'm glad that the department took over that project, and we are now on a very good way to continue with that project. And we have been to the dome area 2 times in the last week. We had a meeting, and in that meeting some of the guys said, without that impact, all of you wouldn't be here. Since that impact was the cause for finding gold in South Africa. Without that meteorite crashing to the earth, folding up the gold-bearing layers, no one would ever have found gold in South Africa. So that's again that idea which Prof. Latichan mentioned with the accident. That was a big accident, a hole of 100 kilometers of radius, 200 kilometers of diameter, but the impact was also a positive one. So I said I go 30 years back in the past. Now let me go 30 years forwards in the future. What can the impact of our project be? We, especially Uli Klaug and Masinde Mutoni, did some research on artificial intelligence. And maybe out of that they will develop some programs that help the farmers to overcome the problems with climate change and to produce better fruit and to be more productive. We had a lot of projects on production, on products, CRPM, PDTS, and that's also something where Stefan will surely step in, and this will lead to a more responsible production. We had projects about entrepreneurship and employability, and this hopefully will lead to less poverty, to better employment, to less unemployment rates. We did discussions about research and education, the role of university. We can really make universities all over the world more responsible. Geo and ecotourism will not only create wealth, but also can contribute to geo-education, to eco-education, to STEM education, which also will bring us more students, but also more wealth. We need students in science, technology, in engineering and mathematics. Sustainable development is future-oriented by its own. I have selected some of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. In total, these are 17 goals, and the main goal is to contribute to prosperity, but also to save nature, to prevent climate change, to adapt from climate change. And one of the most important issues, also for UNESCO, is education. And education leads to peace, justice, and strong education, fights corruption, will lead to peace. And I think in the last half year, in the last 6 months, we again started to value what peace means, especially in Europe when we are so close now to the war, but the impact of these activities of the raid will also be for the whole world. So we can really hope that we can contribute a little bit to more peace, to more sustainable development, and that's the hope. And hopefully in 30 years, when Stefan is then here on the podium celebrating our 50 years collaboration, we will look back, or you will look back and say, okay, we had a contribution to sustainability, to prosperity, to nature protection, and that will be our view for the future. And then I will hand over to Prof. Latikan for his final words. Thank you.
So, if we look now into the future, there are many pointers that one can highlight. So, first of all, there is a little circle here of the projects that Professor Desiree and I identified, and I did not identify it for a specific faculty, but since he is associated with a specific faculty, it was then for management sciences. But the most important thing is the collaboration will continue not only by having a representative in the form of Stefan, but also Uli in his presentation as honorary professor. And this is a very important observation. There must be continuity. This is part of the plan that you need to do for the future. Then 2 projects that Professor Kocht and I are working on, which will then also become part of the broader Aalen collaboration. The first one there we'll see is both Professor Kocht and I are editorial members of an accredited journal called the Journal for New Generation Sciences. And we've collected now the data over 20 years. And now we will start modeling the data. And from the data, we can then also publish advices how people can excel in what they are doing. And with that, we are taking the concept of research education further into the future. And then the next one is, remember what Vice-Chancellor said in the very beginning, to a certain extent, Aalen and CUT had developed in the same way, with non-university systems into university systems, and there are interesting comparisons that we can make. So I was assigned by Vice-Chancellor to lead the project on professionalizing the professoriate. We tried to understand it in our context. Then the next phase is to understand it in the South African context, and here is then the unique opportunity for us to understand it with a partner university. So by only looking at the circle, there we can immediately see 3 projects that will march off into the future. Then, secondly, you will note many items there on what are useful pointers. Can I just emphasize the 3rd one? And this is really my appeal to our scholars, our students, our researchers. Whilst we are dealing with challenges in own context, it cannot have a meaning for our own context only. It needs to have meaning for a broader society. And Aalen is but one example of a platform that is ready for that. And then the very last one, in the spirit of what we've shared, We mustn't limit the partnership only to these two institutions or, for that matter, to other universities, because then it's a partnership of institutions alike. We need to strengthen our collaboration much more with business, industry, government, and also society. And these are the things that we've noted. And then to do some honor also to the program that you have in hand, you will see there on the left-hand side. So can you see I'm working in 3 dimensions? I hope you've witnessed it all along today. We don't have a flat chart for you only, but we have a 3D slide for you. There tomorrow will also be celebrations in Welkom. And that is to show that also in the maturing of a university, there are more campuses, there are more interests, there are more role players, and all that will eventually contribute to understand our partnership, to strengthen it, and also to take it into the future. Now, before I conclude our presentation, let me just hear from Prof. Desi. Would you like to say something about the red circle? I've well rehearsed the instruction. You see, I'm good in receiving instructions and then to share it with other people. So, dear colleagues, thank you very much for being in attendance with our presentation. We are not done yet, so don't be overexcited. Just to summarize, you should go away from our presentation with 3 things. Any partnership must create a value. I think we have showed ample examples of the value that we've created. The second thing is the value must be of benefit for the universities and then also for the external environment. And then thirdly, remember how we started off. And this is now not an instruction from VC, but I know he will support me in this. A partnership on paper is no partnership. The partnership is only an active partnership on the basis of what you experience today. Multiple role players. And this is what we need for the celebrations in 20 years' time, in 30 years' time, and of course, you are all invited to the grand diamond celebrations in 60 years' time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Litersang. Just a very dry joke, but I think when they were trying to make a distinction between you and Prof. Uli on the theologian and one that works with archaeology, they may have missed it because you spoke like a theologian today. Very long. Can we please give a hand over to our panelists today? They did very well. I actually thought I would have a nice session in between for interaction. Time is not doing me any justice. But if you would humor me while they're still setting up our refreshments, what are some of the nice, softer stories that you have about the collaboration? Where it started, the conversation that you have had, some of the nice memories that were around it. And I think I'm going to start with Prof. Kok to just say some of your fond memories about the collaboration.
Well, can you hear me? Yes. Well, I think my fond memories will maybe be to interact in a different environment, a culturally different environment, and to have that exposure of having German students and South African students that you both teach. That's a very good way of learning about the different ways in which different countries also operate. And then I think we've had many jokes and many good interactions in putting our books together and in deciding how will we do it and how will we go about doing it. And Yes, I think that is basically what I take away from it.
From that. Thank you, Prof.
Thanks.
Prof. Litersang, you have the most memory. It started with you back in the day. So what is your most fondest memory of this that we're going to take, and hopefully at 60 years you'll still be here, grey, with your walking stick to tell us more of what you experienced?
As some of you may know, I have an official car, and that's a 1974 Beetle, Volkswagen Beetle. So when I learned about the esteemed professor that will be visiting, I said he needs to be driven around in a German car. And since then, when Uli is visiting me, we still use the German car to take him around. So this is the intimate one. The other one was when Uli celebrated his birthday. It was a rounded birthday. I'm not going to say which one. We were very happy to host it at our home in Bloemfontein. And the challenge was not to invite people. The challenge was how many people can we accommodate? And why do I say this? It shows the popularity of Uli. You never had to look around for people. They were very eager to come. And this is something that I always have to thank Uli for when he visits us in South Africa. And Uli and I have been to many places together. Uli also wanted to see where I'm having my annual vacation, so we spent a day or two there. I could always note Uli's extreme politeness, not only to me, but to other people. And this is a lesson that we must take along, to be polite to all people. And then linked to that, Uli's humor. Uli, remember, you can tell them about saving the chicken experience we had. But the most important thing is Uli caring for people. And this is what we also know today in the way in which we are received here. We are not only guests, we are treated as part of a family. So thank you, Uli, for showcasing that to us. And then, of course, the last fond memory is that not only what we accomplished, but we still want to accomplish. Prof. Uli and I decided that one day we will meet up in the former German town, which is now part of France, in Strasbourg. So we are going to host a two-person conference one day in the city of Strasbourg.
Prof. Uli, what are your fondest memories of the 20 years we've worked together?
Okay, you have 25 hours time?
5 minutes.
No, it was really, you said, it's the encounter with people. And it was so many and so friendly encounters with people here. I cannot emphasize one or the other. I just want to thank all people. I must say, Prof. Latigan, you're not totally right. It were the people that were really friendly and open towards me, and which made me easy to come here for a second time, come here for a third time, to come here for the 26th time, and still enjoy the people here. So thank you all for your friendship. I think that was the most important issue which I take with me as a memory of South Africa. It's all the people and friends here. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to hand over to Stefan. The young people always says, let's give over to the young ones. So the young ones. What is your vision taking over from Prof. Litersang? One thing before you speak, a lot of people like saying you have big shoes to fill. And I say, wear your own shoes, and how are you going to walk differently or better from what Prof. Uli did?
Yeah, that's what I even say. I can look back 20 years, but I can look forward to hopefully 20 years. And what is my future vision is, we see all today the world is moving in a way that is sometimes faster than our own work or our own passions can do. So it's very important to have this connection all over the world, and it's more important to train this to pupils, to students, in a way that they can really connect all over the world. And that is what the three former speakers said. This friendliness all over the world, and like Uli mentioned, the peace that we would like to have all over the world is an important thing to connect. I can remember just a little story. I was one of my first industry positions. I was going over to a company, to a family-held company in southern Germany, and I think, oh, German and Swabian is spoken very good, very comfortable. Then my boss changed. It was a Texan, a guy from Texas, so German was not so long anymore. Yeah, and I have to learn to connect projects all over the world, and this is a very important thing we have to set off. And yeah, probably have the next anniversary party here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, my leader. Thank you so much. So we're going to have a change just a little bit in the program. For now, I want to thank our panel for the presentation. Gave so much context. I'm only 8 years at the university, and it answered so much. So all those facts sheets that I have in my office that are very dated and have technical free state now make sense. A lot of the paperwork that we have read now makes sense. So thank you so much for being, one, our institutional memory, but also our institutional beacon. Because without you, we wouldn't be here today. And your persistence, and I know it was not easy. You have many stories that you haven't told of how the road that we have walked until here has been. But thank you for your commitment. In saying that, I am going to call on our Vice Chancellor to give you our tokens of appreciation, because I'm going somewhere. There are some nibbles where I want us to eat and nibble, but come back. And then we are going to have about a small conversation where we're going to hear from our students that have experienced Aalen and come back to CUTN and investing back. We're going to have our students from Aalen that have been here to give us their anecdotes of how has it been like, what was it like, and how has it impacted their lives. And then we're going to hand over to my leader right there, Professor Litersang, to summate everything. And in true African fashion, we have to break more bread together, showing that we are a family that we are. So first, I'm going to ask Prof. Ngowi to come to the podium and give another gift to Professor Uli.
Thank you.
A welcome gift to Stefan. A token of appreciation to Professor Litersang. And save the best for last for our queen, Professor Kocht. And it's Prof. Uli. Can I also ask Prof that we take a group picture with our Vice Chancellor in the middle? So we are almost there. Please have a seat. I am not done abusing you. This is one day where I can abuse all my leaders and not have any repercussion for it, so I'm a very happy woman. In accordance to the program, colleagues, you can step back and have tea, coffee, and some nibbles. And then I'm going to jump the program up. It's a health break. If colleagues need to go to the restrooms, they are towards my right. There are restrooms there. If not, can colleagues humor me in standing up, having tea, coffee, juice, and some nibbles while we continue speaking so that we don't break the momentum that we are having. So please feel free to stand up, go to the tea, coffee stations, and have something to nibble on while I call Simpiwe. He is our exchange alumni that has been on exchange and has tried to, you know, when the travel bug bites you, you want to continue traveling, and he is really pursuing to do his master's abroad. That's one thing that he said, and his PhD. So allow me to introduce Simpiwe. He's our student from electrical engineering that spent 6 months in Germany, and you have to do us justice by greeting in German first and saying a phrase or so in German to show that he did really do basic German, Prof. Uli. If he can't do that, we have to ask how he passed it. So Simpiwe, please come forth and do share your experience and how that has benefited you. And then after that, we'll hand over to a virtual presentation from Pearl. We have 2 campuses. Our student at Welcome Campus who will also give their experience at Aalen University. And then thereafter, we're going to collapse the program together. You see in your programs, it says presentation by Aalen student and staff. We are going to then push up, then Jan and Rebecca are going to present, and then in between that, Stefan and Uli will then come, and then we'll just have antidotes and speak about it. So no solid presentation, but just conversation around there. Spiwe, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sipiwe, and my surname is Mkwanazi. It's pretty much an honor to be here and sharing my experience. To share my experience abroad. I'll try not to be long. Okay, the presentation is visible. Okay. So what I'm hoping to share with you this afternoon, my experience abroad, which will entail networking opportunities I found while traveling in Germany as well, the people I interacted with, and then an opportunity which I got to improve my cross-cultural communication skills, and also academics, which opportunities of research with Aalen institution. Well, I have this year, these are my friends that I met or made when I traveled to Germany. So we're still keeping in contact, even during the COVID times. Yeah, I don't really like the COVID experience because that really missed. I missed already, I think about 3 opportunities that were turned down due to COVID, and the opportunities that I got through my experience at Aalen University. So I have Gianfranco, I have Manu and Laura, which they were part of the exchange student from Germany. they were here for 6 months as well. And an interesting fact is immediately when they got to Germany, they got married. Interesting is that. And they also bought an apartment. So I'm able to play it. Okay, there's no audio, but these are the messages they sent during my birthday. So, because we always keep in touch. So, Gianfranco is from Argentina, and then Rodriguez is from Spain. So they will speak in their native, in their mother tongues. Okay, so this is where the journey started. Now we're just traveling to taking flights, which it was a bit mixed feelings for me, having to actually leave home and go to a different continent, which was my first time with the rest of the guys. So when I spoke about opportunities or mentioned opportunities earlier on, is that traveling made me to realize that as you travel, you get to meet different people across the world and even in the national context. So we got to meet DJ Spoo, which is one of South African famous entrepreneurs. So he was on his way to Harvard to finish his MBA, do presentation of his MBA of More Fire. So we got an opportunity to interact with him and share some ideas. And also you learn from the people who are already making it, whether entrepreneurs or business people. And so you get to learn a lot from different people as you travel as well. And then, yes, so yeah, it was the first a conference that we attended. So it was Stone and I, he's not here. So basically we made it a mission to ourselves, a commitment to ourselves that each and every single day we're gonna make it count. So that means sourcing out opportunities wherever they are, and it doesn't matter even if we have to catch a train at 5 o'clock to be in a certain city by 6 or 7. We made sure of that, and that was one of the first conferences that we had, which is hosted by JT Fox, one of the famous international entrepreneurs from the United States. So we got to attend that conference, and also we got an opportunity to be one of the founding members of the business club, which is hosted in one of the big cities in Germany, which is Frankfurt. But we'll see the pictures later. And then this is Prof. So we need to keep our relationships, touch base, so our lecturers do come and to check how students are doing, and they always come and touch base with us as well. So this is where we're living, Rombastrasse, Street 91. This is where all the magic happens. So that's where all the international students live, and we get to interact. So the interesting thing about living in a tower is you get to see the world. What I mean about seeing the world, which is what internationalization is all about. In one floor, you have 12 different rooms. And in that 12 different rooms, it's 12 different countries. So you get to share space with someone from Spain, from China, from Russia, across the globe. So that gets to, you're able to see the world and experience the world as it is. So it's not far from your reach, but it's not as big as we think the world is. These were some of the students from the Erasmus program that we're part of, and so we made friends with them, and we also still touch base. Like Dave Nakul now is working in the international office in Aalen University, assisting international students with registration, applying, and all those things. And then you see the T-shirts that we had. So we wanted to hold something that will always, when we look at it in our closet, that you remember all the memories and experience that we all shared. So we decided to print T-shirts with our names at the back. So it's a flag and the name of the person from different countries. So I can say that all of us were a perfect match, because we're able to interact with each other and share different ideas as well. And people who are interested into business, they're able to share entrepreneurial business with others as well. And some of us were classmates as well, because we find that we share same courses and we're able to interact. So like I said, when you travel, you get to meet people that share the same ideologies as yourself, and also who share the same aspirations, share the same motivation. So that's Gianfranco, as you saw on the first slide. So here we're attending a job mess, which is like an expo that normally they host in different cities in Germany that exposes undergraduate and postgraduate students to opportunities for job employment as well, and also if they want to have startups. So the nice thing about this job mess is each and every time when you enter, they get to screen your CV, and also they get to screen your skills, and also they are able to tell you where you need to improve. So like I said, we're sourcing out opportunities, so we're going all out. So that's Molly from the United States. So here, actually, she's not, interesting fact, she's not from the United States, but she's from Aalen. So on this day, the nice thing about Germany as well, they get to support different cultures, in a sense that you are able to celebrate whatever that you need to celebrate in your tradition or culture. So on that day, it was St. Patrick's Day. So we get to wear those hats and do, all that they do. And then, like I said, in the back of our T-shirt, we had that. So these are all the names and the flags that were represented during that 6 months. And it's action as well. We also get to see which passport that looks nicer or more security purposes. Now we're going to blockchain, so all this, would be more secure. So get to play around. You get to miss the sun. Like sometimes it gets really hot, extreme temperatures. In Germany, when it's hot, it gets extremely hot, like humidity is. And also and Germans don't like air conditioning. I don't know why, even today, like air conditioning, it's, we're given an opportunity to host one of the international evenings. So what happens each and every semester, a different country or a group of students are given an opportunity to host an international, sort of like a conference where you get to share or narrate a story about your country. So it happened that when we're there for that 6 months, South Africa was given that opportunity to sort of like share their story, basically. So we saw it as a great opportunity to get hold of the South African or African narrative. So we're able to have the African or South African cuisine, and not only that, but also get to share our history as well, and share the beautiful land that we have with different people that were there. And the interesting thing, it was a great success, because most of the people after the conference, all what they said was, my next vacation is in South Africa. Whether they came or not, but the feedback that we got, it was a positive, which we have changed the African or South African narrative. So we always have pizza nights. Those are all the guys that I stay with in my floor. So all of them, they're from different countries or continents as well. So we had some sort of like culture every Friday. It was pizza nights. And then if it's your birthday, we bake cakes for you and buy gifts for you, just to ensure that you feel more than welcome at home. So this was the Baden-Württemberg Scholarship Stipendium, which is one of the scholarships that funds the entire, funds the experience, or funds the scholarship for going to Germany. So we get to interact with different people as well. So this is one of the upcoming actresses in Germany. So she's building some great content. So she's in the US now. We also touch base as well, we communicate. She's in the US pursuing his acting career as well. So this is the pastor of the region. Like I said, building relationship, maintaining relationship, and you get to participate in whatever, when you're invited, you get to participate in programs that are hosted by the institution or the partners of the institution. I was just traveling around the city with the cathedral. And then I get to the feel of the Tesla before Tesla was Tesla. Okay, so like I said about research, so this is Anna, so he was doing his research. So what they were planning to do is to replace if you want to have eye contact or like glasses and stuff like that. So they wanted to replace the entire process of eye testing with an application. So we're doing that study, taking different samples, taking different peoples at different angles, and getting different people to participate in the study as well. So next time when you go to test your eyes and then there's an application, you know who was there. Okay, so here we're doing our presentation for our semester assignment. So as well, here you get to interact or work with different people or different students from different countries as well, which enables you to learn also different skills, how they solve problems, their thinking process, and also learn to first principle solving problem skills as well. So this was our first, I'm not sure if Prof still remember this picture. This was our first morning actually when we arrived in Germany, and then Prof was able to show us around and also explain where to find what within the institution, and also we planned the semester ahead with Prof as well, the activities that we can do and also the opportunities that we can tap into within the institution. This was one of the institutions that were hosted by Baden-Württemberg Stipendium, so that's what they do for their alumni, friends with the scholarship, and also the students that are funded by that scholarship. So this is one of the meetings of the region, which is within Aalen. So here we have all the students around the African continent that are funded by the Stipendium scholarship. So it was one of the functions that they have so that for us to network and also exchange ideas for research opportunities or any other academic opportunities as well. So that was all of that. So here, this was a great opportunity for me as well, attending all these invitation invited by the scholarship. So I got to meet the director of the Stipendium scholarship, and also we got to interact. So that is why I don't like COVID so much. Anyway, so we got to interact, and then we shared contact as well, and then we shared some ideas as well. Like when you interact with older people as much, you get to learn a lot as well. You get to draw so much wisdom too. So we got to interact, and then we kept on writing back and forth, and which was a great opportunity for me to meet the person who runs the show. And then this was one of the functions that the scholarship will organize. So these are all the students that were funded by this, the scholarship as well, which we got to interact with too. So yeah, the institution was hosting a presentation for all universities. So they will come and share. What their universities offer, and then you get to learn. Maybe if your next destination is in the US, and then you are able to get more information from the university in the US, or maybe you want to come to CUT, and then we have your back. So giving more information about to Aalen students about the programs offered at CUT and also the opportunities, so they can also be exchange students here at home. This is when we're doing our presentation there, and then these are all the students that you saw in the first picture. So we had weekly activities as well around the tower, which is where I stayed. So this it was a food night. So different, like I said, when you meet people from different cultures or across the world, you get to see the world. Not necessarily have to travel to each and every country, but interacting with different people from different parts of the world. That's where you get to experience the world as well. So there's a poster we had when we created the International Night for international students, which is the conference we organized as South African student, it was CUT and Val University as well. So we had a positive feedback. So we are just having fun in the snow. Yeah, so with the conference was a success to an extent that it was headline on two newspapers in the region. So we called the reporters, and the reporters were able to put it on their news for, I think it was for 2 weeks. Soccer, I'm not much of a soccer fan, but Germans will make you really come and watch soccer. Like the way they chant for sports so that was another news article. This was the USTA always normally hosts events for students. So this was a new event for all the first years, and sort of like a freshers ball in South African terms. So this was the USTA team, so I got to volunteer as well, and just to see how they manage social activities for students. So like I said, I was just all in, like just to get to have a different experience. So this was the VR technology. So before what it is now, so back then they were still developing the VR technology for, especially in the engineering side. So where you are able to, like for instance, if you are at CUT and you want to diagnose a machine at Wits University, you can do it with a VR headset. So, but now there's more with multiverse. There's more what can be done with a VR headset, and we also have the VR headset by our lab at the Faculty of Engineering. We're also working on different projects using the VR headset as well for different applications, whether it's for design, whether it's for education, whether it's for sales. So we're looking at different possibilities where we can commercialize VR headset for different purposes, not only for games, but for a wider spectrum beyond just gaming. German cuisine, yeah, can't live without that. So what I've learned in Germany, I don't know where they get it, but all people in Germany, they are so effective. Like it's interesting. Like, believe it or not, the lady that I'm with in the picture was hosting his cafe, like was opening like an actual cafe. Like at that age, it's rare, really. And also what amazed me, the support that she got from around the city as well. Like you could swear that was a Starbucks of Germany, like the cars lining up, and it was pretty interesting. So like I said, we're sourcing out opportunities as you travel. So that's JT Fox, which he has a business club across the globe. So they were having a conference in Germany. So we saw that on the internet, and then we bought the ticket, we went. And then little did we know, on that night, they were actually hosting that's why we got an opportunity to be a founding members of that business club. So even now, the business club is still alive, is still active, and which is impacting different people across the globe as well, not only people from Germany, like people who travel to Germany as well, maybe for job or for any other reasons. They get to benefit from the business club that we're founding members of. Stone is not here, yeah, but it was myself and Stone as well. So that's Sylvia Popovic from the members from the business club, which is one of the coaches as well. And then, so these are the guys that introduced us to blockchain technology. Before we always saw ads on the internet, but we met those guys, and then they opened our eyes to not only for cryptocurrencies, but the applications of blockchain, like in a wider spectrum. And then we tap into it, and yeah, our eyes got open, and the future opportunities for blockchain as well. And then here I was awarded an ambassador certificate by the region in the Baden-Württemberg region. I was awarded an ambassador certificate by one of the government officials as well within the institution. So yeah, also those, like I said, there's something about old people in Germany. So those two ladies as well, they were starting their businesses as well, like from scratch. And now their profit margin of the businesses that they've created, it's amazing. So these are the messages we have in the group. We keep on texting back and forth, the experiences we had. So now this is recent. So these are the students from Aalen being exchanged at CUT. So we ensure that they get to have an awesome experience. So we have a buddy program as well here to ensure that they have a great South African experience. So we show them around as well. We get to travel together because, like I noticed myself as well, when you are abroad, it's better when you have someone within that of that country. So it makes your stay much easier. You get to experience. Things are much easier to find, and it helps you to navigate around. So these were the exchange students. I think it was last semester or 2 semesters back. Here at CUT, and then we showed them around, traveling together, and eventually became our friends. So as well, like I said, opportunities to expand your global network and global relations as well. So all the involvements I had. That's me, CPM Kwanazi. Thank you so much for listening to my experience.
Stand here. Thank you so much, Piwe. You forgot to do one thing. You did not greet us in German.
Oh, guten Tag. Then you keep quiet. What am I supposed to say?
Uli just answered you.
Wie geht's? Danke, alles gut? Danke.
Thank you. Pearl, it is up to you now to speak about your experience in Aalen. So over to you, dear.
Guten Tag, wie geht es dir? Can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you, Pearl.
I asked you, wie geht es dir?
You can continue, Pearl.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, Pearl.
Wie geht es dir?
And that's where I end.
I think I'm having problems with my network or something.
Yes, so we were thinking there's a phase that's called clap and pass. So you are going to speak as fast as you can so that when the bandwidth decides not to work, we have heard you. So over to you now.
I would just like to first and foremost extend my greetings to the panel and everyone present today. And Sipiwe, thank you for sharing your pictures because from your presentation, there are faces that I recognized. So it was nice seeing the faces that I am familiar with. And I will speak from a perspective of a student and both from a perspective of a professional, right? So from a student's perspective, generally student abroad or exchange programs tend to be very student-oriented. And for the period of 6 months, I had the opportunity of staying and studying in Germany, Aalen Hochschule, through the CUT Mobility Exchange Program. And this was without doubt a very exciting and somewhat terrifying experience, considering the elements such as cultural differences, being in a totally different society, and mostly a different language. But however, despite these challenges, the experience of my stay in Germany showed the good in myself as my awareness rose, and I saw things from a different perspective. And my intentions post-study abroad were to return home, having learned the culture of Germany, and as a person who prides themselves in being able to communicate in 7 out of 11 of my home country languages, I wished to expand in learning different languages and cultural aspects from other countries around the globe, as I believed that this would encourage to sustain the friendships that I have made with international students. And from a professional perspective, I believe that the goal of education has been shifted towards preparing educators to meet modern day changes and demands more effectively. And without doubt, the world is changing tremendously in terms of connectedness, which then requires educators or lecturers to inspect their position as global citizens. And the knowledge and skills therefore become more critical as countries merge internationally in this era of globalization, which may result in a variety of changes within our economical, ecological, political, and social spheres. And during the mobility exchange program, I was a master's student in the marketing department, right? Marketing management. And at Aalen University, I participated in an undergraduate marketing program. And this did not in any way set me aback. Instead, it increased my knowledge as I learned courses on an international level and exposed me to the different education systems as one had to be self-motivated and responsible for their own work. So because of my study abroad experience, I learned from international professors, and this then enabled me to compare my own teaching back home from the teaching system from Germany, Aalen Hochschule. And this comparison assisted me with the formation of teaching strategies and interactions with students, thus contributing to my professional development. And guys, I'm just scared that load shedding will come now. So in conclusion, vielen Dank CUT und Aalen Hochschule für die Möglichkeit und die Erhauchtung. I hope that was right.
Thank you so much, Pearl. We are all worried about load shedding. Thank you so much. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Now, you can please stay on so that you can listen in should load shedding not hit, and at least you can still experience some of the presentations that we're going to have. But we are happy that you heeded our call and availed yourself today. We are also at the Welcome Campus tomorrow, so if you want to come by and swing and see us, we will be at the Welcome Campus with the festivities tomorrow. Thank you so much, Pearl.
Notice that I'm wearing my Aalen t-shirt.
I see you are a proud Aalen student. Thank you so much.
Yes, it was nice there. And thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, thank you. As we continue on, can we ask that Rebecca join us? She's our student from Aalen University. Is Rebecca online? As Rebecca is joining in, I want to put Stefan on the hot seat. On the hot seat. Remember, now we have to show Prof. Uli that we got this. And Prof. Litersang needs to see I'm very serious about this collaboration, and they can hand over the baton. Now, if you could just share, yes, you shared the future and how the collaboration is not going to stop but continue to grow. What other objectives do you have about this? There are so many projects and so many ideas that we are having, but at one point we need to calm down and dream and then document our dream and then implement. But over and above that, what is your vision continuing on? And with the new normal of not everything needing to be physical interaction and colleagues traveling, how are we going to continue making this collaboration a success now that we can say we can have a hybrid event or we can just Zoom for a meeting or a class? But what is your thorough vision of how we're going to make this work in this new normal? And do you still think that it is critical that we see you physically on campus and you see our students and our staff physically on your campus?
Yeah, thank you for this question. It's, I think, one of the main important questions. When I moved with Uli down to here, We visited also some other campuses here, and it was also the question, how is it now after also this break of COVID, of the COVID time, to set up projects, to work together and to get a good, let's say, progress that works itself, and it's working on itself to implement more and more together. And I think there is, let's say, we maintained a stage process, with which you can compare, like you're walking up the stairs. A little project can be set up today, like you do a design project. And this is the main work. Also, the engineers or the companies have to work with. You have develop a product not on a one-side company. You divide it into pieces and into sub-projects, and you have to work it on the wall. So we have to show that it's possible to do something like this also on, let's say, a Zoom project set up work, and let's develop this. If this works very successful, I think there are the next stairs rising up to come and work together on some common projects, on some common lectures, and on some changes that are face to face, because all what we see out of COVID is online. Zoom or something what you used in this time was good to have, and it's good to implement it as an add-on. But face-to-face will never be deleted by a Zoom meeting or a vision conference or, let's say, a divided conference. This is only just a face-to-face. So I think there are more steps, more stairs to stay on. And we have, let's say, to the three-dimensional set on these stairs, we would like to have in different ways some projects. And even that is the second point, that these stairs will go up, because we have so, let's say, intercultural projects from the people side, but also we have so much intercultural project of the technician side. It's all melted together. It's not mechanical is a piece of metal, and electrical is a piece of a cable, and so on. And informatic does do a program. It's really melted together that a system is working. And I think that system in the cultural side, we are taking on that system, that human system, and we are developing systems that will work together. And that's, I think, the vision we have to take over, which you said it, Uli said this big footsteps there, and also to widen it out and implement it more and more.
Thank you. Can we give him a round of applause? You've just made me realize that your shoes are even bigger to fill now. Yeah. While we're waiting for Rebecca to log in, I noted when the president was also speaking, our Vice Chancellor, Prof. Uli, that we have exchanged about 135 students in the 20 years that we've been collaborating together. So now it's on us to double the number in the next 20 years. And Prof. Uli said he has been down here at CUT 26 times. So Prof, he has to travel 36 times just to beat up your tally a little. So I think now we have a good point of departure. I'm happy to hear your ideas. They're very exciting, and we are excited, and I'm excited to hear that you're also thinking about how our collaboration will impact the curriculum, how it will impact the intercultural, which is internationalization at home, and ultimately just the exposure of our students, and that you are a big advocate of physical interaction, and that means that our students will continue to travel, but now we need to increase that 135 to also increase our numbers of staff that travel between our two universities. So thank you so much, Stefan. I'll continue to just call you to give, your wisdom on how this collaboration is going to continue. We're trying to set a trend that Prof. Uli's mind is at ease, that they have this. I can let them be. Thank you. Tech team, are we ready? Rebecca, allow me to introduce Rebecca Ellis from Aalen University. You spent some time at CUT. I hope it was all good. You enjoyed it. Please share your experience with us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Sipiwe, if you're still there, it was really nice seeing you again. Yes, I was an exchange student in Bloemfontein back in 2021. And as soon as I got there, I was overwhelmed by all the kindness, and people were so welcoming and so open-minded. I had really good relationships to everybody, no matter if it was students, lecturers, CUT staff, and other people. And I remember when we got there, it took us actually a few weeks to get used to the weather conditions, especially the air being so incredibly dry. I don't think I ever had to drink that much water before in my life, but yeah, that really showed me again how climate and temperature and weather is just not the same everywhere. And despite how far South Africa is actually away from home here in Germany, people made me feel at home really quickly. And I feel like people were so helpful whenever you had anything, whenever you wanted to know something, there would be people queuing up just to help you. And we stayed in a residence with I think 10 other people as well, something like that. And I remember that we used to meet up in the kitchen, cook together, share our stories, different beliefs, and we used to watch football together and everything. There was just something happening every time, and I really liked that we could just meet new people, talk to them, and everybody was so open to share their experiences. Unfortunately, COVID was still a pretty big thing back then, and I think that also affected campus life quite a bit. However, I still really enjoyed the events at CUT, like sports tournaments, Heritage Day, etc. That was really, really nice, and we traveled also a lot to different places. We've been to Cape Town, we've been to Real Natal National Park. It was just, there was so much. South Africa is such a diverse and huge country, and there's so much to discover. And I really like it, and I feel like being able to get a perspective from the global south was so eye-opening, because I feel like I not only learned about South Africa and people from South Africa and the cultures there, but also about myself and about Germany. And it really made me question things how we do here in Germany. So I can just say that it was a super pleasant stay, and I'm very grateful for all the people that made it possible, the CUT, and also people from my own university, Hochschule Aalen. Thank you very much. It was really, really nice. And who knows, maybe we'll see each other again in the future sometimes.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much. Let me open it up while we're waiting for Jan to join in. Are there any questions perhaps for Rebecca that colleagues may have about her stay here and her experience and what she took away from there? Colleagues? Okay. So what I am going to ask you is, now with your perspective of the global south in comparison to the global north, what issues do you think your interactions and students like you coming in on mobility will help solve some of the problems that we are having in the global south?
That's a really deep question. I think one of the aspects that we should consider more is that people are different, people are diverse, and they have different backgrounds, different stories to them. And just like having so many official languages, people from different cultures, different views, that's not something we actually like embrace in Germany. In Germany, we have like our different states and stuff, but I feel like Germany is less diverse in these kind of aspects. And I feel like that we could really use that in order to find like better solutions for everybody in like all kind of aspects in daily life and political decisions, in the way we treat each other. And I think that South Africa really, I don't know, it just feels like more accepting, more open-minded to different things. And I really think that Germany, can improve a little bit in these aspects.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca. I hope Spew is taking notes and something will transpire from this. We don't want you to go on mobility and then develop and be part of these networks but not bring anything back to CUT. We have John. Can I ask that John join us and share his experience of his time at CUT? Okay, there we go. Over to you, good sir.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone, and a special hello to Sipiwe. Nice to see you again. I'm really glad that I can be part of this celebration today because that means I was able to spend some time at the CUT and have a great experience over there. I don't have prepared a long speech or anything, but I would like to say a few words about my experience of the partnership of the two universities. First of all, I would like to thank both sides for making that stay possible. The last semester, I have been able to gain new experiences in my almost 6 months in South Africa and have also learned a lot about myself and other cultures. The first thing that really stood out for me was the open and warm welcome I got from the CUT and the people in the international office, the lecturers, but also the other students. I felt welcome immediately, and so it was not difficult for me to integrate into my new environment and to settle there. The lecturers also really helped me a lot. They helped me to settle into their lectures and were already almost every time available for questions and answered all my questions immediately. So it wasn't really hard for me to settle into the new university environment. Bloemfontein was really an exciting place for me as the culture is very different to the one we know in Germany and what I was used to in Aalen. And I really enjoyed immersing myself into this different world and getting to know new things. For me, however, it was not only the new environment and new culture that made everything so special, but above all, the new friendships that I made over there. There were so many great people who treated me like a good friend right from the start that I quickly felt at home in Bloemfontein, despite the many thousands of kilometers that are between Aalen and Bloemfontein. I'm happy to call many of these people good friends now, and I'm still in close contact with them and miss them like every day because I really like CP, said it before. He wasn't really into football before going to Germany. The same applies for me with rugby. I really miss going to the rugby matches with my friends in Bloemfontein at the CUT. With a certainty, I can say that this day was not my last visit to South Africa, and especially Bloemfontein, and that I hope that many more people can benefit from the partnership like I did right now. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for having me.
And we are happy to hear that now you like rugby, because I heard that there's a Rugby World Cup in France next year. So perhaps some of the friends you made in South Africa will travel, Simpiwe, to the Rugby World Cup and then meet up with you and you can enjoy the festivities of the World Cup. So thank you very much, and we are hopeful that you are not going to become a stranger to CUT, but a lifelong friend. Colleagues, with that said, I think we did well for time, and I'd like to thank you for your allowing me and humoring me to program direct today. I'm going to call on Professor Litersang to come to the podium and give summative notes of today. He will be representing our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor, IRE, Research Innovation Engagement, Professor Samson Mashele. Professor Mashele has delegated him to do the summative words for today. If I can just give you context, colleagues, today is the opening event of our 3-day event celebrating our 20th anniversary with Aalen University. And today we just thought, let's get the formalities out of the way and let's get an understanding of who is who in this higher education zoo and why are we collaborating together and how long it has been, and give you all the facts, the stats, the impressions, the experiences. And then tomorrow, we are two-campus university. We'll be at our Welcome campus, and the people that are not going to Welcome tomorrow are missing out, I must tell you. We are going to have a sort of parallel session where Professor Rake Lewis, who's at our CAFS Research Institute, is going to speak about the research that he's doing. He has recently spent time at Aalen, and he's very excited on the prospects of collaborating and doing research with colleagues at Aalen. So you see, Aalen is a very fruitful and impactful collaboration that we have in Germany. And then thereafter, you're going to have a presentation from our student from Aalen that is here. And also someone that is very passionate about internationalization, has experienced it as a student on mobility, and is also a faculty board member for Enectus that have just won the South Africa competition. And then on Friday, we have, I think you saw in the presentation when Prof. Uli, Professor Kocht, and Prof. Litersang were presenting some of the deliverables that we've achieved in the collaboration, and our Vice Chancellor referred to it. We have a board game called the Value E game. And it has always been played, and it's used as an educational tool within our iGym. On Friday, we extend a hand to colleagues that want to experience it. I'm personally going. I have experienced it a couple of times. I enjoy it. It's better than Monopoly. We extend an invite to you. Come and experience the game with us. It's going to be relaxed. We are going to be playing the CUT version of Monopoly, and the one that is more educational than Monopoly. So you can't cheat on this game like we cheat when playing Monopoly. We're going to be presenting the Value E game at 11:15 at the iGenerator. So for colleagues that don't know, as you exit the hotel school, you see the student support building. Right in front of the student support building, the iGym is there. We're going to be there at 11 to 12:15, playing the iGym, the Value E game, and experiencing it for how it is. And then we'll be serving lunch at our hotel school. And then just to speak about today, when we are summing off, we're going to have our Gala Dinner, hosted by our Vice Chancellor right at the Terrace. So our colleagues are welcome to join us. We are finishing early. I know colleagues have 30 minutes of email to do, and then you come back and we finalize the day with a nice meal where we can break bread. And also we would like to ask your permission to publish all the pictures and images taken today on our social media platforms at CUT and on our website because of POPIA. Prof, I'm correct, hey? Because of POPIA, we are informing you that the images that are taken today will be distributed and used in all media platforms and social media and the university website. With that said, it has been my utmost pleasure being here directing the program today. My job is not done. Apparently it finishes on Friday. So I hope I will still have the vocabulary on Friday to still present. And I have a quotation by Michelle Obama that speaks on diversity, which is something that Stefan touched on, in how collaborations or these kinds of intercultural collaborations are important and why we should sustain them. You see our glorious diversity, our diversity of faith, of color, and creed. That is not a threat to who we are. It makes us who we are. So we are not threaded by circumstance, but we are global citizens. And because of that, the Aalen CUT celebration, collaboration will continue to grow, will continue to develop, and it would be even better of what was envisioned when Prof. Uli did his first visit 20 years ago to CUT. Professor Litersang, over to you.
Thank you very much for those still in attendance in this auditorium or venue, and for the people attendance online. Let me make the following comments. First of all, you have all received the program. And the program wasn't there simply to fill the bag, but there's a very important message. If you look at the program, you must look at what was the theme of today, which will continue tomorrow and then also on Friday. And it's very much about the collective, the future of universities, but also, in our case then, the future of the university. So why do I make a reference to this? First of all, a university can't exist on its own. You need staff and students and partners. You need networks. You need to interact. So the first thing that you need to take away today is, by interacting, you are joining us to secure the future of the university. Very important. By interacting, you are securing the future of the university. The second one, you will notice on today's program, there were two vice-chancellors in our terminology, heads of institutions, international terminology, president at Aalen, vice-chancellor at CUT, and both of them expressed the importance for the university, for their staff and students, by fostering this network. And this is the second observation. Networks are not simply for people to travel, but for people to travel, to gain knowledge and experience, to share it with others, and to enable others to have a same experience. So in at least the physical absence, I'm not sure in the cloud, but our sincere appreciation to the heads of the two institutions for supporting and also acknowledging this initiative. Then my third comment is, you will see the layout of a program. And our program director, we all know Refilwe, and the team. But remember, the international office is to do the courtship, to bring the people together. But internationalization isn't their own responsibility. That's why they phrased the beautiful term of internationalization at home. So Refilwe, to you and your team, thank you very much for putting the program together. Thank you very much for bringing the people together. And to thank you is one thing, but I think they will appreciate if we now live this network. Thank you very much. And how do we support them? Not only to be in Welcome tomorrow or Friday here, but to continue the message. This is what they want, for you to go and live this networking ideal. Well done to you and your colleagues. Let's all thank them. Then we witnessed today, and perhaps we missed the moment, but I can't rehearse it, but I can emphasize it. Professor Uli Holzbauer, who received a Vice-Chancellor's Award for his contribution to entrepreneurship. Can you see the commitment over 20 years, 26 visits? This is what we also need to remember. Success isn't after one day's work, or 1 month, or 1 year. It's an ongoing activity. Uli, thank you for setting the example for us. Congratulations with the award, and we all know that you are a deserving candidate of the award. So well done to you. Let's thank him also again. Then today you witnessed some staff members. My brother, you saw my twin brother, Uli and Prof. Desiree, they made presentations. And what we can take away from the presentations is, one, the value created, but also then the sustainability. Thank you very much to our esteemed colleagues, Professor Uli and Professor Desiree, for making those contributions. And then our dear students, whether in attendance or in Aalen, wearing the T-shirt, illustrating the habits of wearing the T-shirt, what did we hear today? I heard 3 things. Enrichment of mind. Enrichment of mind. Meeting with people from another continent, another culture, another language, another way of doing things. This is what education is all about, to meet, to greet, to live together. And then thirdly, the knowledge gained either at Aalen or at CUT, to take it wherever you are for other people to benefit. So thank you for our students also making that very powerful impression to all of us. Thank you very much for that. Then there are many people who has the responsibility to put a day together like this. Let me not start naming them all, because you know how it goes. You will leave out one name, and then you all like me, and then you will say, oh no, what did I do to him for leaving out my name? So everyone who are here, thank you very much for your esteemed contribution. For those who can't be in attendance, also made a contribution, thank you very much. We all appreciate you. Let's applaud you who you are. And now, what is the takeaway message? We mustn't only celebrate once in 20 years. We must celebrate our achievements on a daily basis. And how do we celebrate on a daily basis? Is to do something that changes yourself and changes the course of humanity. And this was what today was all about. You've witnessed the value, you've witnessed people, you've overheard their experiences. That is change. But we are depending on you to take the change forward. Next time, I want to sit where you are sitting, and you have to present where I have presented. Can I hear an overwhelming commitment to this? We are all committed to partnerships, to networks, and I too want to stand here. Is that our commitment? So, Refilwe, here are your partners. Partners, there's the international office. And when you look at all our beautiful photos on social media, share them with other people, not only because how good we are and how good we are looking, but for the strength of our message. Can that be our takeaway message for the day? Enjoy the day, do all your emails, be kind to people, be back at the gala dinner. And one kind remark, may I, Philwe, with your permission? Don't sit tonight next to a person you know. Is that our agreement? That's no networking. No, not at all. So, is that our commitment? Meet someone tonight and take it away. Stay well, everyone.